And we're back after a brief break. You're watching South Texas Now with attorney and nurse practitioner Joe Flores. Special thanks to our sponsor, Vasquez Flores Home Health. Want an exciting career helping people with special needs or the elderly? 361-881-9922. That's 361-881-9922. And also, we want to thank all of our viewers on social platform and also my friends in Jim Wells County, my hometown. Thank you all very much. We're back with Vanessa. She is a freshman in college, and we're going to talk about that experience. Welcome back, Vanessa.
Hi.
Listen, we talked about let's recap. We talked about the importance of talking to your high school counselor, tearing up the internet like there's no tomorrow, looking for FAFSA, looking for scholarships, anything. There's money out there, but you got to work for it.
Exactly.
And leadership doesn't mean that you have to be the captain of the football team or the head cheerleader. It could mean, like you said, and I thought this was brilliant, you could have been taking care of your family, working at Whataburger and going to high school, overcoming barriers. And in your personal statement, that was beautiful. I mean, you can be who you want to be. And now that you're attending college, Texas A&M College Station, I'm wearing the tie and everything. And take it easy, guys from UT, all right? I went to college with both guys from UT and Texas A&M. Anyway, so let's continue. So what was it like? I mean, when you first hit the campus, there's 75,000 people, for God's sake.
Well, it was definitely a new experience. College Station is a college town, so it was very different from Corpus Christi. But I enjoyed the challenge. I enjoyed, meeting different people from different backgrounds. You have very intellectual people, very well-rounded individuals over there. So I've definitely had the opportunity to learn different cultures, learn different backgrounds, and just immerse myself in a whole new environment and meet incredible people along the way.
Well, I know through hard work you earned scholarships based on merit, but based on your story as a Latina. What is it like in a college town like this where the vast majority of people are white? I think Latinos comprise maybe 15% max, 20% of the population at A&M. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, it is different than I expected. Growing up in Corpus Christi, we're very Hispanic-oriented. Our culture is very enriched and cherished here. And going to College Station, it's very different. Now, is it difficult? Absolutely. Is it doable? Of course. You can definitely overcome those barriers, but you do have to, in a sense, try to maintain your culture and your ethnicity and stand up for yourself, for sure, because people come from many different backgrounds. They don't come from a Hispanic community. So in their eyes, it's not cherished. And so you represent yourself, you represent your culture and everything that it stands for by being there and by your works and your studies and your grades and everything else.
Y yo sé que hablas español, pero no estamos fluente, ¿verdad?
Right.
Porque no vivimos en México, no vivimos en Sudamérica. Translation, we speak Spanish, but we're not exactly native from Peru or Colombia. So when they see a Latina, they're automatically kind of putting you in a box, right? Like, so what part, I used to get this, so what part of Mexico you were from? You speak great English. And I'm like, oh my goodness, help me. So the Latino experience, tell me about yours.
It is difficult. People do, as you said, try to put me in a box. And I have to say, well, I'm from South Texas. My family speaks Spanish. Those are the classic lines that I always have to say. But it tends to be a situation where you have to justify where you're from, or I have to justify that I don't quite fluently speak Spanish, and they're like, well, what does that mean? And so you're not Hispanic, and it's just tons of different questions that I wasn't used to coming from South Texas, where we're appreciated, and it is a different experience for sure. Well,
the other thing is you wouldn't ask somebody that's been fifth generation, like we're sixth generation Texans. You wouldn't ask a Scot-Irish guy, how come you're not speaking Gaelic? So you're not a real Irishman. You're not a real Scot. Why don't you speak German? You're from Kerrville, for goodness sake. Even though your grandfather did, why don't you speak fluent German? No one asks them that.
Right.
So, and I know, you know the Lord's Prayer, you know how to read fluently, you can read Spanish newspapers, etc. But it's a learning lesson, So let's get beyond that and just say what kind of learning and cultural exchange opportunities, instead of making it look like a negative, right? You've made it into a positive, and how have you done that?
Right, because not just in College Station, but everywhere, pretty much beyond South Texas, we are kind of thrown in, and there's so many different cultures and languages and backgrounds that people come from. So it's important to get that experience, because that is what you're going to experience in the work field. And as soon as you get out of Texas or a place that doesn't really predominantly speak Spanish, you will have to go through those difficulties. So it is important to overcome those things with practice, such as in college or maybe in your job if you work somewhere other than South Texas, to get that experience as an individual, because sadly we can't escape it. And it is important for us to then overcome it.
Look, you danced since you were 3. You perform the performing arts, and I was even lucky enough to be on stage with you playing your father in the Nutcracker. But how did dance change you? And not only that, through your intellectual prowess, you got to travel the world. So what was that like?
Well, traveling the world with dance was so incredible. We all spoke the same language of dance. And so no matter where we were from, the United States, Europe, we all knew the same thing. And we were all able to come together and do that all together, no matter our background. And that was incredible for me to experience different cultures. And I'm so blessed and honored to have had that opportunity, because I have a more well-rounded perspective of what more there is to my future and what more I can do. And I encourage all Latinos to try to expand your horizons, get out of the city, try something new, because it's important and will help build your character, not only build your resume for college or whatever you may choose to do, but build who you are and expand your horizons, because there is more than what people try to put us in a box. There is more for us, and we're not finished. We're not finished with how much we can accomplish. And don't let anybody try to put you in a box in any way.
Well, I know that through, and I don't know all the story, but you got to see the Parthenons, you got to go to Greece, and the Nordic countries, Scandinavia, excuse me. But what was that for?
Well, that was for a leadership summit through my old school. So we got to go to Davos, Switzerland, and meet with different kids from around the country and talk about things that need to be worked on, such as climate change. And we all came together from different groups and talked about solutions that we thought of. But that sort of brainstorming led me to want to study political science, was one of the reasons alongside of my internship, because I know that we as young people can come together with our different ideas and, different perspectives because of where we come from, and try to make a solution. And if we don't make a solution, we have a conversation, and that's better than nothing at all.
These people that were your age, where were they from?
Some were from European countries, such as Spain. Others were from Colorado, Florida, California, of course, Texas. And we all met together in Switzerland.
And what was that like?
It was great. It was great to see other people my age that were passionate about being leaders in our own way. We were being leaders in the fact that we were even discussing such a big concept, such as climate change. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, that being a leader isn't just what you think the classic definition is. It's starting a conversation. It's trying to make a change. It's making a change in your family, your community, your friends. A leader is so many different things.
And bringing it back home, education opened the door for you to work in Washington for Congressman Bella, and walking those halls with heels.
That was a bad decision for sure.
What was it like working at the Capitol?
Well, it was definitely nerve-wracking because I was very young. There were young interns, but I was, from my own knowledge, I think I was one of the very few from high school. And it was hard. It was hard to want to push myself, but I did it because I knew that this was an opportunity of a lifetime. And so it's important when you're in situations where you feel like you're not good enough, or, oh, I'm the only one here from my age group, to push yourself, because you will always remember that time that you pushed yourself, and you'll always be grateful that you did it.
And I want people out there to know that there is nothing wrong with the universities that we have here in Corpus. In fact, some of your best friends are attending. You want to give them a shout out a little bit?
Yes, Michaela and Anna and Leah, and they love Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and we have a beautiful view here. You get to be right by the beach. Education is what's important, and it doesn't matter where you get it.
And we're getting on the map too with March Madness. I hate to date my shows, but A&M is pulling it off. You know, it really made Corpus Christi really made a mark. But we got a couple of minutes left. Let's talk about what is, anything that you want to talk about. This is your show. What would you want to tell the young people out there, especially the juniors, the seniors that are hearing tick, 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 to fill out their FAFSA? They're like, what's a FAFSA,
Right, so it's incredibly overwhelming, whether you're a junior and you're getting ready to apply, or a senior and you feel like it's almost too late and there's no chance. There is always time. There is always time, whether, even if you have to take a gap year, that you try and you put your step forward to try to get an education, which is incredibly important. And something that I really need to take my own advice with is to take it step by step. Plan things out. Let me accomplish my FAFSA. Maybe next week I'll start looking at different scholarships. Okay, after that I'll look for some more. Take it step by step, because it can be incredibly overwhelming. You have people telling you different things. It's time, we got a deadline, all of those things, which are important to keep in mind of. But you also want to be patient with yourself, because you're truly starting to do stuff on your own. As I remember, applying for college was one of the first things where I couldn't be like, Mom and Dad, help me. And so it's a gateway step to adulthood, per se, and be patient with yourself. It isn't easy, but you can do it.
Well, you've been listening to Vanessa Flores, and we've covered, applying for education, especially Latinos out there. Only 20% of us or so finish and get a college degree, and we need to double that or more. We can do better, and there is help out there. Value education, even here locally. Education is our freedom. You can look at it and Google it, and you will see that is one where they will pay half of your tuition, and then the Texas A&M College here in Corpus Christi and Del Mar will match the other half. And we're out of time. Thank you, and God bless.
You've been watching South Texas Now, featuring Joe A. Flores from the Flores Law Firm. For questions and comments, please call 361-887-8670 or visit floreslawfirm.com.